Hello and welcome to today's class. You're going to want to get into a comfortable seated position that could be cross-legged, one leg or both legs out in front, maybe sitting higher on top of a yoga brick or block or maybe a pillow so that we can have a nice relaxed vertical spine. And from there we'll try and keep our eyes closed for these opening moments or pick a point to focus on and soften the gaze. Slowing the breath down, rolling from belly to chest and back down again, like a wave on the shore. In today's class, we're going to try and take things nice and slow. We're also going to try and focus on the sagittal plane. So this is our movement of flexion and extension of the spine, moving forwards and backwards. So we're going to be doing a lot of spinal work, but we can keep this nice relaxed breath continuing throughout the session. We might be a bit more aware of that diaphragmatic opening as we go. And then in a moment we'll just begin to blink those eyes open, bringing our awareness back into the room. And optionally today, I've got the option of 2 yoga bricks and a yoga block. These could be books, rolled up blankets, pillows, or you could go without any props at all. They're not essential, but I will be guiding how we might use them today for certain poses. Then want to come down into a tabletop position and then onto our fronts to start our first pose off today, lying on our front to get into Sphinx pose. So we want to try and stack the elbows beneath the shoulders. That alignment to stack the joint there is really crucial. Allowing the weight of the body to be positioned nicely. The hands could be positioned in the center of the mat, palms up or palms down or parallel to each other. Trying to roll the shoulders back and down lightly. The chin can come towards the chest so we're not craning through the neck. Either picking a point to focus on, a drishti point, just like at the start of our practice, or closing the eyes. Within this pose, we're going to be holding most of the poses today for 3 minutes. Starting off with our Sphinx. Now, when we're in this position, some people might find that the lower back, which is one of the sort of regions we're going to be opening up through the spine here, might be a little bit too sensitive for you. So if the feet are together and that feels a bit too intense, we can just open up the gate of the legs, allowing the feet to move to the sides, splaying out, a bit like in Shavasana, but on our fronts. By doing this, it's just going to allow a softer opening of the hips, a softer, more relaxed element in the lower back. So you can have a play with the gait of the legs, but once you've found what's right for you, finding the stillness and the edge of our pose about 80% of our maximum. At any point in any of the poses today, if we need to soften and come out early, we can, and in this case, we lower down into our resting belly pose with the hands stacked beneath the head. If not, we'll try and enjoy a bit of quiet now, a bit of silence and stillness for this first pose today. In just a moment, we're going to come out of this pose, our Sphinx pose. And we're going to do that on an exhale that comes naturally to you, Let's come to resting belly pose by bringing our hands together in the center of the mat, palms down, stacked. Then lowering down the chest by moving the elbows to splay forward, letting the forehead rest on the top hand between the thumb and the first finger. By doing this, we're allowing our body to slowly adapt from that extension of the spine to a more neutral level, while still allowing a lighter extension of the spine, so we're not trying to oppose this straight away. This is really crucial when we're coming in and out of poses, that we don't push things too much too soon. So just a period of time to gently come out of that more extreme extension of the spine. We'll just begin to bring the head up off the hands, bring the hands to the side of the chest to push back into a tabletop position. Having a light bit of movement in the hips might feel good here. A little bit of a sway side to side, trying to stack the knees and hips, the shoulders and the wrists. And then with those knees and hips still stacked, we're going to walk those hands forward to come into a mountain heart pose. Trying to bring the head and the chest down towards the floor. We could stack the head onto a prop, that could be a brick or a block or a pillow. We want to try and keep that stacking of the legs and hips key, so sometimes we'll have a habit of allowing them to tilt forwards or tilt back. So on this occasion, we'll try and keep them nice and level. If this is too intense on our arms, we could come onto our elbows, allowing the hands to be stacked in the center of the mat for a more softer option if we need to be a bit higher in the chest. Again, trying to hold this pose for approximately 3 minutes. And if it gets a bit too much, we can go back down into that nice resting belly pose that we were just in. Not feeling the need to push too much or force things beyond what is right for us today. There's no pressure or competition in any form of yoga, especially Yin. It's an exploration of the self, not a competition with yourself. In just a moment, we'll begin to come out of this mountain heart pose. So to do that, we can begin to claw into the fingertips. Allow those hands to slowly work their way back into a position so that the wrists can be beneath the shoulders, coming back into a tabletop position. Stacking knees and hips, shoulders and wrists. We can have a bit of a cat-cow now, inhaling to drop the belly down, dropping the chest between the shoulders, and exhaling to round the back, pushing away from the mat, chin comes to the chest. We don't want to rush this process, doing it at our own pace, nice and slow inhales and exhales, just to try and counteract some of those last few poses. Allowing that nice bit of movement, rolling through from the tailbone to the crown of the head like a wave rolling up the spine and back down again. Accentuating that belly drop, accentuating that rounding of the back, chin to chest. And taking our time, we can then come back into a seated position, swinging those legs out towards the side, then extending those legs out in front of us straight ahead. Now, we don't want to be rounding through the spine here, so if we do find that we're bracing the core, trying to lean forward, rounding in the back, we can sit higher on a block, as I am here, or it could be on a pillow, it could be on some books, so that hip crease allows us to be softer so we're not rounding, sitting up nice and tall. With the legs, if the hamstrings or any sciatic pain comes into play, we can bend in those knees, lightly or significantly. Possibly if we do that, bring in a prop, be that a brick, a book, a blanket beneath the calves. That allows a softer position for the hamstrings or any sciatic pain we may be struggling with. And from there, we want to sit up nice and tall. We want to look just ahead of the feet, maybe a foot or so in front of them, and that's going to allow a better position for our chest to draw forward as we tilt the pelvis forward, inhaling those hands up and exhaling down towards those feet. We can stop on the thighs, on the shins, the ankles, or the feet, without forcing and pulling our way down. Sometimes we'll really pull and crank here, and we want to avoid that in any yin pose, but especially here where we might have temptation to pull that bit harder, touching our toes maybe being the goal. So once we've got to a position that feels right to us, about 80% of our maximum chin can come to chest, we can take an inhale through the nose and then a sigh through the mouth to just relax the grip of the hands, allowing them to be positioned relaxed either side of the legs, framing the legs. Allowing those hands to be relaxed reduces the risk of us consciously or subconsciously pulling and pushing, forcing our way down, which will put a lot of extra pressure on the lower back. We're going to be here for a little bit longer. We want to make sure we keep ourselves mindful and present. So that involves our inhale and exhale being a grounding effect, in and out through the nose, focusing on that autonomous function to keep ourselves in the moment. Also allowing the acknowledgement and the sensation of the pose to be something that we can focus on too. So how does it feel currently in this pose? Are we feeling that opening of the hamstrings? Can we relax anywhere through the body that's maybe a secondary muscle group, be that in the spine, in the shoulders? Allowing the chin maybe to drop more towards the chest, to soften in the back of the neck. Can we relax our toes and our fingers, our feet and our hands, our wrists and ankles? The features of the face in any pose is often something that we actually hold a lot of tension to. So with that in mind, can we soften on our next exhale the jaw, the lips, the tongue, the cheeks, the eyes, the brow, the third eye, the forehead, and even the crown of the head. Anywhere that you feel tension, try to focus on that point and soften accordingly. And in just a moment, we're going to begin to sit up nice and tall. But to do that, we'll take a nice inhale, brace the core lightly, put the fingertips into the floor to help support the body coming up. Using those hands to support, we can have a bounce in the knees, a bit of a flex of the legs side to side to relax the hip. And then we can cross those legs, sitting up tall again, bring the hands in front of the knees. And similar to how we were before, do a nice inhale to drop the chest forward for a seated cat-cow, looking slightly up off the centre. Exhale to round through the spine, dropping the back behind the pelvis, chin to chest. Really trying to accentuate this movement. The seated cat-cow can be a great way to open up the body after some more intensive flexion or extension of the spine, or even in the office in our day-to-day. Really drawing that chest forward, trying to bring those shoulder blades back behind us on the inhale, then opening through the back of the body as we round through the spine, exhaling back. Now we want to get our bricks, if we are going to use any props, having one on each side, maybe having bricks or books to hand. A block could be used to place beneath the head, if we have one, or a pillow. And then we're going to lower down onto our spines. We'll hug those knees in towards the chest, having a gentle sway side to side, just so that we can have a nice bit of self-massage, possibly bringing the chin up towards the knees to accentuate that motion. And this is very much optional, not essential, but if it feels right, we can do that. Then we can lower the head back down, bringing the feet back down. Then we're going to set up for a nice reclined twist. So we're going to bring the arms up towards the side and check in with the neck and the head once we're there. Do we want to position a block or a book or a pillow beneath the head to soften in the neck? Or would we prefer to be on the floor with the head positioned? The arms can drape out to the sides around about 90 degrees, palms up. Then push into the feet, we'll move the hips to the left-hand side of the mat, allowing ourselves to move to the outer edge of our right hip crease as the knees then slowly drop over to our right to twist over. Now, some of us might be comfortable without any help or support from props. A lot of us will benefit from a brick or a block, a blanket or a book beneath that right thigh or knee. And for the inner groin, which is a nice way to really soften, for lots of people, myself included, subconsciously, we can place a prop between the legs as well. The gaze can be to the right, it can be centered, or it can go over to the left-hand side, opposing the twist. And there's not something that's a standard here, it's very much on what feels right on the day. So if we find that one day we want to go with the flow of the twist to the right, in this case, that's fine. A bit more yin. If we want to be neutral in the middle on any of our twists, that's also fine. It might be a bit softer in the neck that way. Or we can oppose the twist to be a bit deeper, a bit more yang, a bit more active. But that is optional. There's no need to force, no need to mimic what we did before, what others are doing. Just go with the flow of our pose and enjoy it for what it is. It's very much an in-the-moment process in Yin Yoga or any yoga pose. And this is no different in our reclined twist here. And in the spirit of trying to be a bit more in the moment, a bit more present in our practice today, I'm just going to allow this pose to be in silence for the remainder of the next couple of minutes. So hopefully you can enjoy that moment to be a bit more meditative, a bit more still, both mentally and physically, until we transition in a few minutes to the other side. Now just begin to bring our gaze back to center. We can let the left hip come down towards the floor to bring the knees back up, feet plant. Removing any props from between the legs. And pushing into those feet, we can bring the hips back to center, the feet back to center. Continuing over to the right with the hips and the feet. And we're coming onto the outer edge of the left hip this time before letting the knees fall over to the left hand side. This is where we might use a prop beneath that left thigh to keep ourselves nicely grounded through the shoulders, or bringing a prop between the legs to soften that right hip crease. The gaze can be to the left with a twist, can be in the center in a neutral position, or over to the right to oppose the twist. Not feeling the need to mirror what we did before, taking each side as it comes and treating it individually, not collectively. Try to have a nice rolling breath from belly to chest and back down again. Rolling in and out of the twist as the legs might lightly rise on the inhale before softening back down on the exhale. Not forcing the breath in, keeping it nice and slow and gentle. Now, similarly to our last couple of poses, I'm going to be here for a couple more minutes, really enjoying this more surrendering pose, this more relaxed release of our reclined twist for a bit longer before I bring us out. In just a moment, we're going to come out of this pose, having had that nice period of just silence to be still and with ourselves. So we can just bring that gaze back to center, this time letting the right hip get heavy as it draws both feet back down, the knees to come vertically. Removing any props from between the legs as we do so. At this point, we'll just bring the feet and the hips back to center, hugging those knees back in towards the chest, having a gentle sway again, massaging against the floor. The chin may come up towards the legs, chin to chest, if that feels right to us. Though it is a bit more active, it might be a bit too much for us. Bringing the head back down to the floor, the feet can slowly come down too. And keeping the knees bent, the feet together. We're going to have a nice option here to come into our reclined butterfly. So for this, the feet can be together, let the knees open up. So we're opening the book of the legs, possibly bringing a brick or blanket under each thigh to soften in the hips. The hands can be on the belly here, stacked. One hand belly, one hand chest, or out to the sides, a bit like in Shavasana, palms facing up. I personally like to have this one hand belly, one hand chest option. This allows me to bring a bit more awareness to my breath. Have that nice wave-like roll, using our diaphragm to draw the air into the belly before it rolls back into the chest for that final 10 or 20% of the inhale, breathing in and out through the nose, with a gentle drawing of the chin towards the chest, just to soften lightly in the back of the neck. We can take nice, slow inhales and exhales, rolling up and down like a wave on the shore. Trying to extend the exhale slightly longer than the inhale. That could be by 1 or 2 seconds, it could be by several. Extending that exhale, allowing a nice, gentle approach to our breath. Feeling that rolling of that wave-like breath be a more mindful anchor to keep us present here. Just the last few rounds of breath here, allowing a nice steady inhale and exhale in and out through the nose. Enjoying this last minute of stillness, of silence, before we come out of our reclined butterfly position. And slowly we'll begin to come out of our butterfly position here by bringing the hands to the outside of the legs, closing the book of the legs, drawing the knees towards the chest, gently swaying side to side for a light bit of self-massage against the mat. Then lowering those feet back down, we can set ourselves up for our Shavasana. So we could go traditional here, the feet as wide as the mat, legs extended to straight, allowing the feet just to fall out towards the sides. The palms of the hands can point up as the arms splay similarly to the legs, away from the body. Chin can come to chest with or without a prop beneath the head should we feel we need it. And then again softening our inhale and exhale. Closing the eyes and enjoying our final resting pose of our practice today. So in just a moment, I'm going to leave you with this video today, but I welcome you to increase the time of your Shavasana. Get all the time that you need without rushing back up into your day-to-day life. I'd just like to thank the 53 people who have subscribed so far to the channel. It's really appreciated. I'm really grateful for it, and there's going to be plenty more videos to come each week as we explore Yin Yoga and some other subjects along the way. Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you again soon.